It's the 2007 SCCA Runoffs. In E-Production in 2006, it was an in-your-face war right from the off. Tom Thrash, the number 67, got the lead heading into turn one. Lawrence Loshak picked up second in the 0-2 with a good move, but Pratt Cole in the green 00 gave him a serious run. There was a big tangle with the 99 of Dane Levin and the 5 of Aaron Downey, and that led to number 75 Meredith Haupt climbing on the roll cage of Minor Wilcox. But up front, the battle for the lead was a three-wide scrum. Tom Thrash gave it up to Loshak in the 08 of Bob Neal, but it still was not over as they augured into turn one, the action continuing side by side. Thrash made one last attempt on the last turn of the last lap, but it wasn't enough, and Loshak held on to take the gold. E-Production is one of the most tradition-laden of all the classes in SCCA National Racing because historically it produces some of the best racing. When everybody came to Heartland Park last year, it was a very different track, much tighter than Road Atlanta or Mid-Ohio. So what was going to work? Well, the old ice racer, Lawrence Loshak, screwed an ice racing setup on his Honda and promptly went to the win. This year, he has 5 wins from 5 poles in 5 starts. Doesn't get much better than that. The guy that's upset Lawrence in terms of poles over the last 3 years is Tom Thrash. On the pole the last 2 years, and was in fact on the front row in 05, Tom had a silver last year. He is hungry for that gold. He wants it bad. But he's got to get up against John Brocky, the 03 gold medalist, who's a great story. In 05, the last race at Mid-Ohio, a huge crash. They rebuilt the car. John came back to qualify 4th last year, but a DNF has left him hungry for another gold. Tony Rivera missed the action in E-Production after not running last year so much that he's borrowed a car to come back and run. Belongs to photographer Mark Weber, so Tony wants to win, but he's got to keep it real pretty. He's going to be running against Bob Neal, who was the bronze medalist last year, actually led a lap, but when the rain set in, backed off, settled for 3rd. Perhaps memories of a last lap crash in 05 came across his mind. And then there's the gentleman who's only in his 3rd runoff, driving the beautiful Datsun 240Z, Greg Ira. He was 4th last year. This year he wants to step onto the box, and if he can, that top step. 43 years ago, the Sports Car Club of America decided to institute a runoffs format to determine the national champion, one race for the medals. However, this class that's coming up today, E-Production, began 53 years ago when the championship was determined strictly on points. It is one of the most history-laden of all the classes, and it is also one of the most fun. Welcome to the 44th running of the 2007 SCCA National Championship Runoffs presented by AT&T here at Heartland Park, Topeka, Kansas. Greg Kramer along with Dan Binks, some great pit reporters down covering the action. And first, let's get down to John Bizignano.
Well, Sandy Helkiss owns this beautiful TR6, and he's no stranger to the podium at these championships. He finished himself 3rd in 05, but on Friday he was crew chief for a GT light car that came in 2nd. I was talking to him earlier and I said, Hal, you've got to be careful when it comes to this car. It's so old. He says, Biz, I'll tell you what, I qualified 10th. I'm going to put it into the top 5. Sandy Hang.
Well, mid-pack of this starting grid, we may see a race within a race. That's the number 18 of Chuck Clark, and just behind him is the number 6 of Charlie Clark, his father. A father-son team racing here today. And you might not be able to see it, but there's a lot of duct tape that's painted on both of these vehicles. Why? It's because these guys have been bumping and banging all season long. They like to race each other, and they have a lot of fun at it. So watch for these 2 cars mid-pack. Guys?
Oh yeah, we can see some of that paint covering up all of the duct tape and the like, and it's good. You're a good family and all that, but when the green flag drops, you're competitors.
Oh yeah, and beating and banging is part of this class. You know, these cars are almost identical, and there's some bumping and grinding that's going on.
Close quarters racing, there's no question of that, and we expect to see nothing but that as these cars begin to head out from the false grid onto the racetrack here at Heartland Park, Topeka, and it is a beautiful field and a large field. This false grid is absolutely full for E-Production, and the E-Production class, obviously, This is only the second year we've been at Heartland Park, Topeka. They're quick cars. Changes to the track, Dan. How's that going to affect things?
There's some big changes. The track used to go in turn 1 down and over and back. And what's happened here is they've just opened that up. And the same thing in the back. It used to come way down here, 90, and then up under the back straightaway. And they've opened all that up. So there's going to be a lot of side-by-side racing going into turn 10 and then down through the autocross and out on the front straightaway.
It's going to be fun to watching these guys make the adjustments. Now, here is the class description for the production category. E-Prod, the fastest.
They are the fastest, and they must remain in the order that they came. If they're rear drive, they must be rear drive. If they're front drive, they must stay front drive. And but they can do all the roll cages, all the safety things, and they adjust this class by tires and weight.
And as a result, you get a variety of cars that run very close. It's going to be a lot of fun. A big field, as we said. Track has been rubbered in a little bit after some rain, so grip might be better than it has been earlier this morning. We should see some great racing coming up in E-Production, the run for the gold. E-Production, just saying it means we've got a good one coming for you. The run for the gold medal in the national championships at Heartland Park, Topeka. One of the biggest fields here in all of the 25 classes going for national championships is on course behind the pace car, and it is a very talented field at that. So let's get you right to the starting lineup. On the pole is the defending champion, Lawrence Loshak. He qualified second last year, and he has been very, very quick. Tom Thrash, the silver medalist last year, the last 2 poles. We talked about John Brocky, a silver in 02, a gold in 03, fast lap in 05. And 4th spot, the 04 silver medalist. I mean, this field is deep. And you go back even to the 10th qualifying spot right there. That's a 2-time bronze medalist, and Sam Helkias, arguably the prettiest sounding car out there in that TR6. And you just look at the depth of this field, some great, great talent. Michael Sturm, an ice racer, had the pleasure of racing with him a long time ago, and he is very quick in this category. It's very deep. And we also have an onboard, the number 9 of Ryan Ennis, the West Coast Hot Rods Mazda RX-7, has a couple of views for us, and this is one of them. Looking back, that is Mike Sturm right behind him, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that rear view is going to be exciting. There's going to be some really close racing in this, and I wouldn't be surprised if the camera gets a close-up.
Yeah, I think we might see. Look at that. You see the stickers on that Caterham 7 right there. That is very cool indeed.
What it means by the stickers on those tires is they're brand new, and we usually peel them off, but these guys just put new tires on, they leave them on and rub them off on the track.
There's an outside look at the number 9 of Ennis, and let's check in with Sandy.
Well, we have another family combination mid-pack on this grid, starting nose to tail, and that's Meredith Hupt and her father, Brian. That's the 75 car and the 15 car. Daughter and father racing, and just like the Clarks, those two like to mix it up, think nothing of bumping and banging and just having a good time. It's all about position out there, you guys. So we have 2 family combinations, a race within a race. That even gets stranger. Listen to this. Those 2 families, the Hupts and the Clarks, are related by marriage. So their common crew chief is Alex. Let's go to Biz.
Well, Sandy, in this class, I think you need a couple marriages to make things work. 38 cars, and there's 12 different models. If you like older cars and matched up against newer, late models, this is your class. And it's the SCCA's responsibility to keep them all competitive. I think they do a good job.
I think they've done a great job, and if you remember the opening shots of this show, you saw Meredith Hupp was a driver involved in that turn 1 crash last year. She ended up on top of the roll cage of another car, so this class does produce excitement, and we're looking for the green. 38 cars onto the front straight. Some of the guys thinking it was going to go a little earlier. Now the flag flies, and there's the fan out. Loshak on the pole, but Tom Thrash in that RX-7. Pretty strong run from that outside. Here they come down into turn 1. There's the 52, Tony Rivera. He's on the inside. Thrash uses that outside line, a little quicker entry into turn 1, and looked like he nosed ahead. So far, so good on board with Ennis and back in the pack. So far, Danny, everybody looking very smart. It was busy, but everybody kept it fairly clean. It looks like the whole field got through 1 and 2. Nicely done.
Yeah, we haven't seen that in some of the other classes. Getting through there clean is a big, big deal. You can see they're running 3-4 wide. Camera car here is making some big moves, passing a few guys now.
There's the lead. Thrash in front of Loshak, then Tony Rivera. And Rivera looking for a little bit of redemption. He's running 3 classes And ooh, big move there by Sam Halkias, and a nice piece of driving right in front of Sam by Aaron Downey, who I think saw him coming and went, ooh, he's got a head of steam, and if I turn in, we are going to clunk hard. And he gave him some racing room. Then that's the 240Z down the inside of Greg Ira, the red car. Boy, some great action in the early going. Halkias able to make that pass stick. Then Downey, yep, that is Downey in the number 5, that Mazda RX-3. Then Ira in the 240Z, another Z behind him. And that's that mix of cars that Biz was talking about. Ooh, looked like the car of Ira, the red Z, was going to take a look at Downey. Had the door firmly slammed.
Yeah, we've seen some moves over there, and any of them are big. They usually end up bumping into each other.
Halkias needing to defend just a little bit, because Downey is looking very aggressive in that deep blue, that almost purple RX-3 right there. He is working very aggressively in the opening laps.
Yeah, that's a rotary engine versus a 6-cylinder Triumph engine, and totally opposite ends of the spectrum there, and pretty even on the straightaway.
And the neat thing about this field, John talked about the mix of cars in it, but also the fact that none of these are just, you just going to go buy them. You know, somebody's mass producing them. These are cars that somebody's probably owned for years and have worked on, and bringing in now some of the more modern cars that still have to run to a certain spec has really brought this car, this class back to life with some great mix of cars.
Right. What happens is people build these cars and they just stay in this class for a long, long time. Either they sell the cars and build new ones, and some of these guys have, you know, Halkias has been running that car for, I don't know, 10 years.
Well, this battle right in front of Ennis is for 18th. You saw Thomas get around Brian Hopt, and then Hopt taking a run right back, trying to get around. And we go back here to this battle once again, and those guys are catching the 99 of Dave Lemon, the open cockpit Miata right there, or excuse me, the RX-7. That is Lemon running in the 5th spot. Right behind him was Sam Halkias, but Aaron Downey has been able to get by. And let's check in with Sandy on Dave Lemon.
Real quick story on that number 99. Dave Lemon has been racing in club racing for 35 years. He raced his first runoffs in 1976. Talk about experience. He has it. He said, the car may not be fast, but I know how to mix it up.
Well, he's in the mix of it right now, and the guy has been very impressive as Aaron Downey right here, very aggressive in the early going, got around Halkias finally, and now is hounding Lemon big time. Look to the inside. He's been aggressive, but he's been clean.
Yes, he has been very aggressive, but clean. He had a shot on the inside there, and he knows he would have had a wrinkleless fender.
As the 18 has gone around, Chuck Clark, the collateral entries, and that's one of the families that's part of this. That's Chuck, and he's got some damage. Looks like that muffler on the back of that. Maybe he's got damage in that spin, or did he get contact?
It looks like he pushed off the road there, got collected on the front and on the back. Yeah, that's bad. The exhaust system's broke. Those cars are really dependent on the exhaust systems.
And here we go up front, Thomas Thrash, who qualified on the pole the last 2 years, but never got the gold. This year qualified second and is leading and is opening it up just a little bit over Lawrence Loshak. Here's that battle, and look at Downey again, working over Lemon. That time actually Downey a little too aggressive, and it cost him on the exit of the turn, and Lemon able to get away. Then Halkias, there's the number 2. Beautiful 240Z of Greg Ira. And right behind him is John Brocky, who was moving up through the pack in that Miata. There he is. And Brocky looking very, very good. There is Thrash, opening that margin up about 1.5 seconds over Lawrence Loshak, but a lot of racing to go. 15 plus laps left here in E-Production at Heartland Park, Topeka.
The choreography of executing 25 races in 3 days is enormous, and it takes a team of people here in race control to make this all happen. Matt Gungelke is one of the folks, the stewards, who is in charge of making sure things go well. Tell us about all the functions of the people in this room.
Yeah, we have 4 positions. Sometimes it can be organized chaos when it all gets going, but we try to keep it all in check. We have emergency vehicles, we have the course workers, we have the stewards who are controlling the yellow flags and the black flags for each and every call.
And they know what's going on the track at every moment. And see those discs there? They mark ambulances, emergency vehicles, wreckers, flatbeds, and the orange little dots. If you're a driver, you don't want to be an orange dot in race control. That means you're in the gravel.
Well, and once again, those are part of the great volunteers that come out and do this. This is not a paid deal. These people do it just for the love of the sport in this club. However, you could parlay that into something. That gal right in the front of the shot with her hands clasped is Simone. She is the chief communicator for the American Le Mans Series. Absolutely one of the best in the business, as many of those stewards and officials are in race control, volunteers all. And it starts there and all the way out to all of the other workers on the track. Now, right in this section of track, but a lap ago, we had a bit of a moment with a guy who had a very good run going, Greg Ira. Watch for it right here. Here he comes down the inside of Halkias. Ooh.
Yeah, they had big contact there. It looks like it damaged the front suspension on the 240Z there. Ira's not going to be happy, and neither is Halkias. Halkias is having a pretty good race.
Yeah, he was indeed. Was right in the hunt in the top 10. Meanwhile, Tom Thrash, the margin now just a little over 2 seconds, so he continues to run extremely well in this category in the early going. Very tight confined part of the track here is the number 27. Back in the order just a little bit. Having a good race for 19th, Joseph Scorch right there in that yellow car, coming up and working on the 09 of Gary Martz, putting a lot of pressure on, even deep in the pack. That's where Halkias recovered from, so he's way, way back there right now. He's quicker, I think, than the group of cars he's in. Be interesting to see there. Well, that's not him. That's the 09 of Martz, as we're on board with Ennis, who's in this mix as well, and we'll see what Halkias can do. He's going to have to work awfully hard at this point.
Yes, he's going to have to work really hard to get back up to where he is, up to 10th or even anywhere near that.
09 of Match right there in front. Ooh, good move right here down the inside. That's Gary just ducking underneath our camera car, Ennis, and picking the spot up at this stage. So just moves up into, I think it's going to end up being 18th once they cycle through scoring. And when we had the incident, there's a car that had an off, and the number 9, Ennis, happened to be right there with a good seat of it. And we're going to go back and see if we can see what happened from the onboard angle. Sturm, 48.
It looked like he just pushed off, and he saw the accident up ahead there and just had no place to go. Lost a bunch of positions.
Now it was 18, Ernest Anderson, who at the time was in the top 10, so that'll be ultra frustrating to have that happen.
Right, looks like Halkias got by the, I think it's the 09.
All right, up to the battle for 5th. Once again, Dave Lemon has it. Downey, but look at John Brockie, former gold medalist, has reeled in, gone around a couple of cars, and has caught Downey, and Brockie is very, very quick.
Brockie is very quick. He qualified 3rd, didn't have a very good start here, and these guys got by. He needs to sort of force the issue so he can get back up to the podium here.
Brockie out of the Central Division as we go back. This is the battle for 3rd. Tony Rivera, the last medal spot in that 52 RX-7, the borrowed one from photographer and very talented race driver Mark Webber, but Bob Neal in that 08 RX-7 looking pretty quick right now, and has come up to put some pressure on him at this point. And I was talking about Brockie. Many years incentive, he won the division driving an old Yenko Stinger Corvair and knew he was quick, but the car just didn't have it. Decided, well, we're going to step up and get the top-notch equipment at the time. That open cockpit Mazda Miata promptly won a gold medal and has been a front runner ever since. But right now, the front runner, Tom Thrash, about 2.5 seconds over the defending gold medalist. And we have a battle on our hands here in the run for the gold medal in E-Production at the 44th running of what is called the Olympics of Amateur Motorsports. That is the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. For the second time at Heartland Park, Topeka, in Topeka, Kansas. E-Production under contest, and it is truly under contest. You can see Tom Thrash, who had opened up the margin to almost 3 seconds. It has evaporated. Lawrence Loshak is on the prowl. He has reeled him in, and the battle is on for the gold. Loshak, you can see Thrash. That's a rear drive car Thrash is driving. He looks a little loose. Loshak in a front drive Prelude. Interesting mix of drive lines.
Yes, it is. It looks like to me that Thrash is leaving black marks, leaving the corners. Maybe he has smoked the rear tires. It looked like Loshak maybe took it easy at the beginning. You know, he's back 3-4 seconds, and now he's right on him.
Well, let's find out if that was the plan, Biz.
Well, Clarence Morris is the crew chief for that beautiful 02 car. It looked like the 67 car had great legs at the beginning of the race, but you caught him right back up again.
Really do. The car is working well all week. The engine trans exchange Honda has been very strong. We figure these good years are going to come on. We figure we'll pass them in a couple laps.
Well, you have another advantage down here. This gentleman next to you with the computer, he knows more about what's going on than race control.
Right, we got the data act and we can see that we're gaining, so I think we'll be real strong mid-race.
Well, right now they're the fastest car on the track, guys.
Well, of course, that car is front drive, so the engine's sitting on those wheels, and if you go too aggressive too soon, you can really damage the tires. Lawrence Loshak and obviously the crew pretty savvy as to what that car needs to be there at the end of the race, and they've dialed it up.
Yeah, it's obviously they've been watching what Thrash was doing in practice and stuff, and maybe saw that he fell off a little bit on his tires. And Loshak is just coming to his own now. It's only a matter of time till he can get Thrash here.
All right, well, we have just completed lap 7, so still 11 laps to go. Loshak a little loose right there, but just carrying the speed. And last year, if you weren't here watching, that second place car, they ran tow out. I talked about it at the top of the show. They put an ice racing setup on it with a ton of tow out on the back of the car in that extremely tight 1-2 in that chicane. Loshak was absolute magic. And I was chatting with him a little bit earlier, and I said, is that going to hurt you here? And he goes, no, we've got a setup for the high-speed stuff, too. We're going to be just fine. And he seems to be applying it quite nicely now. And Tom Thrash, once again, so fast, maybe one of the great names for a race car driver, is finding an awful lot of Loshak in his mirror.
Yeah, he's fully covered with Loshak. And what happens is when they point those rear tires out, when you lean on it, it makes the car turn for you. And now that it's a little faster, you got to be careful because you don't want it to turn for you and spin out.
And John Brackey was running up in the 6th position. We saw him putting that move together and moving up, but boy, he has dropped way back in the order right now. He's back to 13th, and here's what happened.
Yeah, he just tried to carry too much speed through turn 6 and spun out. Very lucky that the Dave Lemon didn't get into him.
Yeah, he finally had got around Aaron Downey. When we last saw him, he was trying to get by Downey, made the pass, and then just too much. And there, a nice job. Meredith helped, realizing John is a bit quicker. Just let him go through, and he's going to have to really get to work here. As he's now, that's going to put him only to 12th at this stage. So we go back up to this battle for the lead, and Thrash now has managed to find a little bit, has himself a couple of car lengths that he didn't have the last time we saw this. So maybe a little bit of this, maybe he was, you'd think maybe easing off, save those tires, but you watch him around here in those last couple of laps, he is all over the place. There is no easing off. He's just throwing it around. Welcome back, E-Production here at Heartland Park. If you're just joining us, here's what's happened thus far. Lawrence Loshak was on the pole, the yellow Prelude, but Tom Thrash in the RX-7 on the outside of the front row got a great run down into turn 1, went to the lead, and has been there ever since. And it's been interesting. Then a bit of a moment as the number 18 just ran a little wide. Chuck Clark got clipped going in and then got clipped again. But the action continued. Greg Ira in the 240Z, the red car, got underneath the 83 of Halkias, took them both off the track. Ira's done. Halkias back in the pack. And then John Brocky, number 89, who had worked his way up into 6th, had to go away all by himself, now is back in 12th. And oh, look at this, Lawrence Loshak coming into that very quick section, 8 and 9, has made the pass. He got underneath. Oh, but he's run wide. He's over in the grass, and that is going to let Thrash come right back by. And the only thing that maybe helped Loshak out was the fact that that was front drive, and he was able to straighten it out using the front end of that car, but that has allowed Thrash through. But we have seen now that Loshak coming out of 6 and 7 is building some great speed.
He's carrying big speed down the straightaway, up through turn 9 and into 10, and got the better shot on there. Just carried too much speed through 10 and got off on the grass.
Thrash didn't make it easy, but when you're in the lead, you don't have to make it easy. You have to make it possible. You can't hit the guy and take him off the track, but no point in making it easy. And Loshak now just has to gather it back up again and come back after him. We are just past the halfway point here, and now they're starting to get into some traffic as well, and that can also make things interesting. Let's go back, take another look at a little different angle here.
Yeah, Loshak just got a great run through here. This is leaving 9, carried a lot of speed on the exit, down on the inside, and there's not much, Thrash could do. He's down on the inside. Loshak's got it clean. But what happened right here, he's going too fast. Gets off on the grass. That could have been really dangerous. Could have spun in front of him. Thrash says, I got to get by him now. And this is a dangerous part right here. They could have both run into each other. Thrash gets by clean. Now it has to, Loshak's got to get the tires cleaned off. And he's doing okay now.
He's doing okay, but he's definitely lost a little ground to Thrash at this point. But this is that section where he's been quick, and he's starting to chip away at it again.
He is chipping away at it. Thrash's tires are done. Traffic's going to play a big part here, I think. If he can sort of pick and choose, maybe get an inside line, he might be all right.
So battling here, the number 16, Ernest Anderson, in that RX-7 has come up on the back. I believe, is that the 61? Sure it is. That's 61 of Don Aarons, and another of those beautiful Nissans. That's a 260Z, I believe. And these guys are having a very stout battle right now for the 7th spot here in E-Production.
Yeah, these cars slide through here really nice. Both rear drive, sliding the rear tires, in and out, and you just have to make the straightaways as long as you can here.
Check that, Aarons is in fact in a 240Z as well, which I've always thought was one of the, was really the innovator of a certain level of sports cars. And now we've got some good action going here. This is for third. Tony Rivera is hanging on by the skin of his teeth right now. It is that close as Bob Neal is all over him. This is the third class Tony's run here at the Runoffs. In the Spec Miata category, he was favored to be very strong, ended up with a 16th. In GT2, he won his division. Everybody thought he was going to be a real factor. He was up at the front, got involved in a wreck in the first corner and taken out. And so he really would like to put together a drive here and earn a medal, but again, it's in a borrowed car. So he's you got to wonder in the back of his head about if it gets close and Neal starts leaning on him, how much is he going to want to have thinking the car getting wrinkled up a little bit. But for Neal, Sandy, he's looking awfully good.
Well, I'm with Corey Clough, who is Neal's crew chief, and you were saying you thought maybe Tony was holding you up a little, that you've got more speed, you just haven't really tried it yet.
Yeah, I know we can get past him. He's just gauging him and waiting for the right moment to get past him. He got close. I know he can do quicker lap times in this. He's got it in him. So we got my lucky piece in my pocket, my lucky red shoes from last year. We're getting third this year, that's for sure.
That's Corey Clough, the crew chief for Bob Neal.
No superstition at all in racing.
Yeah, we have a couple of those guys. Johnny O'Connell is very superstitious, so I don't believe in that. I believe you get what you take.
There it is right there. That's the shoes that he thinks got him to the bronze medal, so he's looking for another medal while he's got him on right now. So that battle continues to be a good one. Ooh, you can see Rivera laying down some big black marks coming through those last couple of corners, and Bob Neal thinking traffic in front. Maybe I'll be able to do something there. And this is the battle for the bronze, but up front it is still Tom Thrash. Welcome back to Heartland Park, Topeka. E-Production is at war. Simple way to put it here, the way things have been going. And it is an amazing run here as Tony Rivera continues to fend off Bob Neal in the battle for the bronze medal and third in the national championships. Look at that time. Neal was the one who was all kinds of sideways. And for a minute, I thought maybe that left rear tire was a little bit low, but I think he just loaded it so hard it was folding up a little bit, and he still has not been able to find an answer for Rivera.
No, he hasn't. It did look like that tire was very low. I don't think it's flat, but maybe it is low.
Well, we'll certainly keep an eye on that as these guys continue to do battle, working through some traffic. This may be the shot Neal needed. Rivera definitely got held up behind the BMW. Now he's going to get by, but you can see Neal able to get a run. Now, the question is, can Neal get by the BMW as well? And he is going to do it. And in fact, it slowed up, I think, his run through 10. And that's certainly going to help a little bit for Tony Rivera.
Yeah, what happens here is there's 38, 39 cars in this class, and those guys are racing in their own race. Now they're a lap down. They just need to pay attention and let those guys by if they can.
Well, look at this. Aaron Downey is keeping the battle interesting for fifth as he is in that blue RX-3 right behind the 99 of Lemon here in that RX-7. And this is for fifth, and we have watched Downey be very, very aggressive. He's been very clean. He hasn't done anything to punt anybody, but he's been aggressive, Sandy, and he's in the top 5.
Well, he's been aggressive, but he doesn't want to be too aggressive. You may remember last year, Aaron Downey got caught in that big melee. I was talking to his dad, Randy, who builds his car. He said, Dad, his son went to him and said, I want my car to look like the GT40, you know, the Gulf Oil. He said, I can't make this car look like that, but I can sure paint it those colors. So they went away from the yellow car and are now that beautiful blue in there, hoping that'll change their luck here at the runoffs.
Well, it comes back to the same deal, superstitious or whatever, you know, painting your car a different color. If you believe it, I guess it's okay. I think he's just doing a great job here. He's got a little bit of damage on the front. Looks like maybe he got on a curb and hurt the nose valance there. But, man, that RX-3 is pretty cool.
Oh, he's giving it a drive. Well, maybe that's it. When things are going well, it's you. When things are going bad, I didn't have the right socks on, that kind of a deal. And now Tom Thrash, our leader, is catching some traffic. And as you can see, he's opened it up over Loshak by a bit of a chunk. Loshak is now almost 5 seconds off. And I don't know whether Loshak just found problems in traffic or whether he's maybe got a little bit of a problem. We should check on that because you don't see Lawrence Loshak dropping off like that very often. But you can see Tom Thrash is certainly not slowing down. He is continuing to throw that car around the track and build his margin up. There's Loshak, so there is the margin. Thrash through traffic with less than 5 laps to go now in E-Production. Is he on his way to his first goal? Boy, it's looking better every time he comes by start-finish.
Over the last several years, Tony Rivera has been the incredible shrinking man here at the SCCA Championships. This is his old driver's suit. And now this is Tony as a lean, mean driving machine, 75 pounds lighter than he used to be. Tony, 75 pounds. What difference does that make in the car?
Well, I mean, obviously it makes me quicker to react. It builds up my stamina. I'm able to run a complete race while, you know, concentrating instead of worrying about when the checkered flag's coming out, when I can get out of the car. A couple years ago, there's no way I would have been able to run 3 cars, you know, in one day. Now I do it with ease, and as well as driving in the Star Mazda Formula Car Championship, it's been a blessing.
All right, and here is a look at Tony Rivera, and with maybe some problems for Lawrence Loshak, Rivera is starting to close that margin up just a little bit. He is comfortably now, and a matter of fact, he is in second. He may have just gone around. Loshak is in trouble, and Rivera might well be in second spot and looking for a potential silver medal here. And Biz, any word on what's going on with our defending champ?
Well, they think they have a tire down. They believe it's one of the right front tire or left front tire, but they are staged here in the pits to put a tire on, but of course, it's going to kill the race for him, guys.
Yeah, in this type of racing, man, flat tire just ruins your day. And it had been leaking for a few laps because he was like 3 seconds behind and then another 8 seconds back from the leader. So obviously a big problem. It just escalated. Now he's on pit road.
Yeah, he's bringing it in, and notice one of the sponsors on the side of the car, David Hobbs Honda.
Yeah, David Hobbs Honda. It looks like it's the right rear. It looks like the wheel might have come loose. It's wobbling around. Yeah.
Boy, he is going, come on, guys, whatever you can do. This one's going away, but this is not quick stuff here, not designed in SCCA racing. They're all sprints. So this is going to, as Biz said, the chance of any kind of a top finish is done. Now it's just pride. Get out there and do what you can. See if you can throw down a fast lap. Speaking of fast laps, Meredith Hopp, after having been involved in that incident last year, seems to be on a mission to show, hey, I can get this one done. And she just laid a nice pass on the 41 of Ken Shreve and has picked it up. But Shreve able to come back again right now, and right in that mix, the 09 of Gary Martz in that open cockpit RX-7. These guys and gals putting on a great race.
Yeah, they're duking it out big time. It looked like maybe she didn't get that great of a shot off the corner and paid for it at the end of the straightaway there in the new section.
Here comes Martz, going to take a look, trying to throw it down the inside. I think he thought Meredith was going to turn down a little bit more aggressively than she did. You saw the nose of that Mazda dip just a little bit. And actually, I think he could have maybe forced the issue there.
Yeah, I think he could have forced the issue. It's kind of neat to see the convertible Mazda here versus the old style body here.
Here they come out of turn 5 and into what is now, with the changes to that chicane on the backstretch, probably the most important corner on the track in terms of a great lap. This launch out of turn 6. There's a good look at the 09 of Gary Martz. the champion of the Great Lakes Division in that Kreider Racing Mazda RX-7 in the wars here in E-Production. 3 to go. E-Production National Championships at Heartland Park, Topeka for the Sports Car Club of America. Great battle for 12th right now. The 41, the blue Mazda of Ken Shreve in front of the 75 of Meredith Hopton, right behind the 09 open cockpit Mazda of Gary Martz. And that car Gary Martz is driving, that Kreider Racing sponsorship on there. Boy, that's a name that goes back.
Yeah, Reed Kreider, we raced with him in GTU back in the late 80s.
And that car got a great run off the turn and hopped. Ooh! Tried to make the move and had to just jump on the brakes. She slewed sideways, and I don't think she got into him. It was real close, but I think she kind of was surprised at the speed she ran up on him after he had driven by like that. She did a nice job to get out of it, and that really hurt her momentum a little bit. And now Martz just pulling away through that long uphill climbing 180 that's called the carousel, or turn 3.
Yeah, she's been very fast through the turn 6, through the kink turn 9. We'll see if she can gather it back up here. I think she can.
There's Shreve in 12th, and he has been having a very solid race in this battle. This is that turn 6, so key to get out of here. Let's go back, see if there was any contact in that incident. Here she comes. She did. You can see the back end of Mott's car, just the head bob.
Yeah, the head bob, and you could see she didn't want to hit him. She got on the brakes pretty hard, got inside again and said, this is not the place for pass, and got back out of it.
Well, it's been a good drive for Meredith. I mean, she qualified 19th, and now she's up duking it out with Shreve, who qualified 12th, and that's right where he's running. And so she's gone up, but she's brought Gary Martz, who's in that 09 car, qualified 22nd, right with her. So those two having a very strong race, moving up almost 10 spots.
Yeah, that's impressive here. You know, usually you don't get faster. They have so much track time between, when they get here for a week. It's hard to get faster and faster. Usually by the second or the third day, you've peaked.
Looking here at the battle for 10th, the 88 of Michael Hart, qualified 14th. But look at the number 6 of Charlie Clark, one of the family folks that we've been talking about, in the number 6 who qualified 17th, coming after him in this battle for 10th. Both these guys have moved up smartly as well. A great drive for Clark.
Yeah, great drive for Clark. He's the one that we showed you that had some tape on the front.
Yeah.
I don't think he's had to use that front valance yet.
Well, if he does, I don't know how it's going to hold up, being all tape. And now here's on board with Ryan Ennis, and that's Mike Sturm, the old ice racer who's been running in this category in E-Production for a long time. And he's running a Honda Prelude, very similar to the car that Lawrence Loshak is running. Mike Sturm, just a great guy, and I've known Mike for a long time, loves E-Production, loves racing, and just refuses to give it up. Had a hip replaced a couple of years ago and said that's made a big difference. Now he's much more comfortable in the car and having a good time. But Ennis, our camera car, all over the back of Sturm in the battle for 16th. By the way, leader Tom Thrash on the last lap. So this is what it's all about. And Sturm in a war right now with Ennis, doing everything he can to come after him. Right behind is the 85, James Spates. And there is your leader who's working up through traffic, 67, Tom Thrash, after 2 front row qualifying efforts, but some problematic races. Maybe it's finally going to come home for Tom Thrash. And after being arguably one of the fastest guys on the planet, certainly in this type of car, to finally be able to show it in terms of the results in a race, that's going to be good. Back on board with Ennis. Back on board with Ennis as he is chasing Sturm. You can see Sturm's got some legs in spots. Ennis closing up big time as we head into 8, now 9. Key to get out of here strongly. And Ennis, little bobble there, and that I think helped Sturm out just a little bit. Heading into turn 10. There they go. Ooh, the back end stepped out on Sturm's car.
And
here comes Thrash.
Yeah, it looks like Thrash is just taking it easy. He's actually, his last lap was pretty decent. He's been leaving black marks, leaving all the corners. I think he's just got to be careful here through the autocross section and get out on the front straightaway to get his gold medal.
Maybe one of the most frustrated guys in the track is the guy right behind Thrash, Greg Ira, who was in the top 5, or at least knocking on the door of it earlier. And he got into Halkias and has dropped well back. But meanwhile, Tom Thrash, finally, look at that. He knows it. He has worked so hard for it. This is what it's all about. The gold medal for Tom Thrash. Just a remarkable driver who just hasn't had the results in terms of the races to match his tremendous speed, and he's finally got it. Looks like he's got something he's going to celebrate with inside that car as well. Tom Thrash, just an absolutely perfect drive. Tony Rivera, you see him in that borrowed car after a couple of rough goes in other classes, brings home a silver medal. And 08, Bob Neal brings home the bronze. Those two had a good battle going, and there's Thrash's crew delighted.
Yeah, it looks like he might have a Texas flag with him.
There you go. Now we hop on board with Ennis. This, once again, the battle for 16th. And even though it's not for a medal, there's pride on the line. This is the national championship. Any spot you can make up. These are the best competitors on the planet in these cars, and they've all congregated right here. So if you can even pick up one spot on this last lap, that gives you some sort of bragging rights, and he is pushing hard.
Yes, he is. Ennis is trying everything he can to get by, and I don't think he has enough. These cars were pretty equal through here, through turn 9. Out onto the straightaway, he carried a little bit more speed, but I think the Honda might have something. We'll see. Maybe he's going to get inside. This is a tough place to pass, and he's got it.
He stove it down the inside on the last lap. Now, does he keep it on the track? He does. That was key. You can come screaming down in there, but we've seen it before. Lawrence Loshak running wide, bouncing through the grass, and that time Ennis did it to absolute perfection, and Sturm could do nothing but watch Ennis go scooting through. Just a beautiful piece of driving by our onboard. Well, you picked the right guy to put that camera on, didn't we?
Yes, we did. That was some awesome shots from that camera, and to make the late move, that's pretty exciting.
That is great. Here he comes. He is going to take that 16th spot with a great drive in the last lap by Ryan Ennis for Mike Sturm. Part of a good show. We sure appreciate that, bud. Nicely done. And here is Tom Thrash, silver medalist last year, but in the last 3 years, he's never been off the front row. Only one medal, and it wasn't the gold. And this year, he gets it. And you're absolutely right. He's got himself a flag. He's celebrating out there, having some fun. And he didn't realize Tony was coming up alongside, probably to give him the thumbs up and say, nice job, it turned in. Right here.
Yeah, I don't think they were planning that.
I don't think, exactly.
In NASCAR, and they bump into each other on the cool-off lap sometimes, but I don't think he was.
Well, and I also noticed the head socket slipped over on that side of the nose. Maybe it cut off his peripheral vision. Nonetheless, you know, he kept that car clean, did Tony Rivera, the borrowed car the whole race, and then tinked on the cool-off lap. We'll be right back. Welcome back, E-Production. The national championship has been decided. And Biz, we're going to send it down to you with a guy who's half the man he used to be. All right, Tom Thrash is your gold medalist. We'll go to him first.
Yeah. Come on, Tom, show us a little emotion. Don't hold it back. Exciting. Well, here comes the gold medal from Mom Joyce. Go in there, Joyce. Congratulations. Silver last year, gold this year. First of all, I got to ask you about this cool-off lap. You know, you're not a NASCAR mate. You're not supposed to be bumping into your people next to you. What happened on the cool-off lap there?
Well, Tony came up beside me to congratulate me. He's a real good friend of mine. Tony Rivera's a good friend of mine. He came up beside me to congratulate me. I had the flag out the window. I didn't see him, and I was turning down in turn 6. It's okay. We're okay with each other.
Well, the other thing I got to ask you about is the pass, too, because something happened right as soon as it was made. The 02 car went flying off the track. What was going on there?
Oh, we went in there so hot, and he was on the outside, and I think he was just a little bit too wide, and he lost grip. And he came in a lot hotter than I did. I braked a little earlier than he did. He didn't quite make it. We came back on track together around the carousel, and I was able to get it stick. I guess he had too much mud on his tires because he wasn't able to get me.
You know, on the grid, you told me you were going to do this, and I didn't have all the faith I needed, but congratulations.
Well, you know, last year it got flipped, so we flipped it back this year.
Well, next year, whose turn is it going to be? All right, guys.
Yeah, you know, they're going to be battling again in the future without doubt, and he gets the gold. He mentioned Loshak running wide, and that probably scooting across, and when he came back on the track and he clipped a curb, that's what may have dinged up that wheel and flattened that tire. Rivera with the silver, Bob Neal with the bronze. Downey, I think one of the best drives of the race in an old RX-3. You got to be impressed. Meredith Hopp, after the problems last year, coming up. Ryan Ennis, our camera car, with that great battle. And then you take a look a little bit further back in the pack. You got some problems. And, of course, the 02 of Lawrence Loshak struggling back there in 31st. Now let's get down to Sandy Hang with Tony Rivera.
With Tony Rivera, the silver medalist, we have time for just one quick question. You had a lot in your mirror behind, but did he ever make any serious challenges at you?
He made a couple of them, but luckily Bob's not a guy to try low percentage chances. he did a good job and worked me hard keeping him off for the whole race.
Tony Rivera, your silver medalist, he did great until he got smacked there on that cool-down lap, guys.
Yeah, I know. He wanted to keep that car clean. It was borrowed and then to get tinked on the cool-down lap. But, hey, that happens. They were just exuberant celebrating. And I messed it up, but I was going to say he's half the man he used to be, twice the speed he used to have, and boy, did it pay off for Tony Rivera.
Wow, I can't believe he lost 75 pounds.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
That's impressive, and boy, he did put it to good use. Congratulations to Bob Neal. Thanks for joining us here at Heartland Park, Topeka for the SCCA's National Championship Runoffs e-production. The usual war, lots of action and lots of excitement, and we're glad you could be here with us. Sure was a pleasure for us to be able to bring it to you. For Danny Binks, for Sandy Heng, and for John Bizignano, I'm Greg Kramer. It's been a pleasure, everybody. And remember, there's a lot more action to come right here on Speed for the SCCA Runoffs. So make sure you tune in. Take care, everybody, until the next race. And Tom Thrash, nicely done. Gold!